Now the next section then is the series of homeworks. It's kind of again building upon your physics knowledge, is converting units. And what you've got to do is you've got to remember, you know all of these units. Okay, every single one of those units you learnt in the previous one. When you get a question in physics, what you've got to do is you've got to convert whatever they give you into these units. So for example, if they give you 50 kilovolts, which is this section here, but they put a K in front of the kilo to get to volts, you've got to convert it back into volts. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the table that you need to remember, and then you can do any conversion that has ever been given to you. Okay, so this table. So what you do is you start at the top. Now this is then done for meters. Okay, so you need to be able to basically say back out loud gigameter, megameter, kilometer, meter, millimeter, micrometer, nanometer, picometer. So you've got to remember the order, those 8 things. And to convert between giga and mega, what you do is you times by 1,000. Okay, and on the other side, on the right hand side, if you want to convert between mega and giga, you then divide by 1,000. Okay, so the good thing about that is, so let's say I want to go from kilo down to micro. You've got to remember this, and every single little step then, if I'm going to go from kilo down to micro, I know I times by 1,000. So I'll go times by 1,000, times by 1,000, times by 1,000. I'm not timesing by 3,000, I'm timesing by 1,000 3 times. Then let's say I want to go from nano up to meter. I would then divide by 1,000, divide by 1,000, divide by 1,000. Follow that pattern, you can do any. Now on this one, what I've done is I've done it as meters. Now it could be any unit ever, so it could be volts. So basically it could be gigavolts, megavolts, kilovolts, volts, millivolts, microvolts, nanovolts, picovolts. All right? And it can be any kind of word or unit, but as long as you remember that order. Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to remind yourself of the units. Okay, so just give yourself now a little test. And then when you've done that little test, I then want you to think giga, mega, and work all the way through it. And once you can do it verbally, write it down on a piece of paper next to you. And once you've written it down onto that piece of paper next to you, right, then what you can do then is you can remember the order. Then do it up to bottom to top. Okay, and then start at pico and do it the opposite way. Then choose one of these units on here and do the same thing. Do picometers per second and then work your way up the table. So keep practicing it until you can do any unit, bottom to top, top to bottom of that table. Then there's a few little questions here. So what I want you to do now is I want you to pause the video and then convert 2 kilograms into micrograms. So just remember you've got 2.54 kilograms. Remind yourself of the table, write it out again if you want, and then go from kilo to micro. And you've just got to remember how many times you're going to times by 1,000, because on that one you're going down the table. Then have a go. The question is 2, 3, 4 and 5. Pause the video. Right, so what I've put on here then is I've then put on the answers. So just check your answers, and if you've done them, then that is absolutely fantastic. Very well done. Now go back and write down that order again, going from giga down to pico, and then do pico back up to giga.